you feel, but stop because it may not be seen as positive enough. Well, according to a new survey, around 67% of people experience toxic positivity in a week. That is a thing, while 75% ignore their emotions just to be seen as happy.
So how do you have the tough conversations? Well, joining us now is emotional intelligence specialist Amy Jacobson. Good morning to you, Amy. Okay, so we're seeing this toxic positivity all the time, aren't we? Where people say, well, just keep positive, you know, even if your world is crashing around you. What's causing that? What's driving it?
Look, I think before we get into that kind of area, we need to understand that the actual positivity side, when we think about positivity, we tend to think it's a good emotion, where understanding the fact that there is no good or bad emotion, what there is appropriate emotions and severity levels. Now, when we look at it that way, we know that not every day is positive, not every moment is positive, not every minute is a good thing. And this need to be positive in these moments are actually having quite an impact on us. It's creating this ingenuity feeling around people, which then leads to a lack of trust, and that lack of trust is what's causing the toxicity.
Do you know, it's interesting there, Amy, as we were talking, we were showing their stage, but those workplace environments, I wonder whether toxic positivity is worse in some workplaces. You know that really false atmosphere of, you know, let's all go team, and no one's authentic or talks about the actual honest issues.
Heaps of people are losing their jobs, but it's going to be great.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a great outcome. Come on.
And that's crazy, right? Like, it's not realistic in there. And I think in the world that we're in today, you know, we are a more vulnerable society. We are a more sensitive society. So people have a little bit of fear in them as well as to, you know, if I do start to complain or if I do tell the truth, will I be judged? Will I offend somebody? So it's a really tough draw, really, there, whether I actually be honest and create that genuine side and that trust, or do I just pretend like everything's fine?
I love what you just said there, Amy, where you just said they're just emotions. They're all emotions, not good or bad, and it's about it being appropriate, right? So you don't want to be a constant complainer either. What are your tips here?
Look, I think for tips, we really need to have the conversation first off. So it is very normal for human beings to avoid some of those tough conversations, but having the conversation and actually speaking about how we're feeling is really important. We then need to think about the desired outcome, like what are we actually looking to get out of this situation? So from having this conversation, from being honest, from talking about our emotions, what is the outcome that we want? Because we don't want to loop and get stuck in that emotion and become that negative person, because that's also not good either. We want to ask more questions rather than making statements, really going into emotional conversations or sensitive conversations. It is so much better to ask questions than to make statements to people. And we also want to start to understand how to control our emotions. Emotional intelligence is a huge thing, whether it's in the workplace or outside of the workplace, and learning to understand how to control our emotions in those situations will make a huge difference. And the last one is the psychological safety. In all environments, there must be that sense of psychological safety, which really what underlies that is trust. And if we don't have that trust network, then people will not feel safe, and therefore they will not talk about how they truly feel.
That is a very good point. All right, Amy, thank you for all those very good tips. It's becoming more and more challenging to be honest in family and work environments, and you've got to be tiptoe around it sometimes, but good advice there.
Thanks
Amy,
so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, you can't have a cup of tea without a biscuit on the side, I don't think, anyway. And this